Hello, and welcome back to An Abundance of Naught. It is March 11th. Garrett here. That's Brad.
Hello.
That's Wade.
Hello, everyone.
How are we doing?
We're doing.
You can't just regurgitate half the question as an answer. I mean, I asked, how are we doing? We are doing is not
well.
really a viable answer.
We're doing well.
There you go. Wade.
That time I augmented your question.
This lesson in English sponsored by
The letter 4 and the apple. We'll get into
The
that later.
letter 4?
Yeah, the letter 4. So glad you caught that.
Sesame
Little
Street
Easter egg
fail.
in there.
there is our show title. We're not even a minute in. Oh God!
Somebody write that down.
The letter 4.
That's awesome. So what's going on?
Oh, new account started this week, so the usual beginning of the job happiness.
I'm glad you caught that early because it sounded like nude. I was like, what?
What?
Whoa, where are we going here?
This is an adult podcast tip this week.
That's
No, it's not.
a new project.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Outside of the normal tasks and responsibilities?
no, it's just
Another one?
it's another one, but part of the reason I liked this job is because I'm ADD.
Really?
Yeah.
notice.
I don't know if you caught that.
Squirrel.
Where? So no, I don't. I'm not actually ADD, but pretty close. But so being able to start something new, it's shiny again. It's the same thing, different place, but it makes it all new again.
Each one has its own set of challenges and opportunities.
This one's
Exactly.
eggshell. The other one was just white.
Yep. Where in the country are you this week?
I am in North Carolina,
Ah,
the Great Southeast.
the Great South. Say, sure, it's beautiful. I've never been. Well, I mean, I have been east of the Mississippi, but never south. So,
The Mississippi doesn't run.
shut up! I knew you were going there. I knew you were going to do that. I've been to New York. I've never been to the Southeast. How about that?
Ah, there we go.
Is that
Okay,
better?
that is better.
Better.
Mo better.
Many much more better.
So how are you doing?
Wade's trying to not crack up over here. He's got a face.
I was just sitting there like, oh, okay.
I wish I had my camera ready. That would have been a great picture. It'd have been awesome. Oh well.
I do not give you legal permission to use my image as the thumbnail.
Entering the studio shall constitute all the legal permission we need.
That's correct.
My voice, another matter.
By participation. Yeah, lots of big things happening on the professional front. That is too early to go into, but a lot of hope and excitement in the future from the commercial world.
Wonderful.
So that's exciting to look forward to. Wade looks a little sad. Are you crying?
No.
You look like you're gonna cry.
I'm going to have tears in my eyes. I'm laughing so much from the green room.
He's tearing up with joy. It's true.
There are days it is a shame we don't record the green room.
Wonder if we should get in the habit of that. Anyway, we'll
No.
talk about that later. No.
No.
So Wade, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Got finally starting my new job position, so that's nice.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is.
So tell me, how is the body adjusting to not having to wake up at 4:30 in the morning?
It's still that point where I'm about to yawn doing it.
You still wake
there it
up
was.
anyway.
Yep. So yeah, I told you. It's still body's still going. Hey, it's 8. We need to get to bed. It was like, no, we don't need to wake up till like 6:30.
Shut up, brain.
And it's like, you're awake. I'm awake at 5, and it's like, no, I still have an hour and a half. Let's go. Want to get back into sleep because sleep is nice.
Sleep is very
It
nice.
is very nice when you wake up and go, oh, look, that's the sun. Not go to work and then go, Oh, when did the sun come out? What?
Yeah. Nope. That's I mean, big things are happening. That's
It's
all
real
I can
nice
say
when
there.
your boss actually like what the second day you work, the boss comes in and goes, "Oh yeah, guys, you broke your sales record." It's like surprise! I'm a great contribution to this team
For the day, for the week, for
for just record, not week, not day. In that
Ever.
one day, we broke the record per day, or for, to sales in record
You broke the all-time record for daily sales.
in that unit. Yes.
that was my question, because if it was like you broke your monthly record, well, you're only there for a day, so your contribution may not have been that critical. But if it was for a single day and that was the day that you were on board, obviously that you were able to contribute to that.
Yes, exactly.
That was my question. And that
Well-
was the answer.
Now it's answered.
Now it's answered.
Main question: how are you?
I'm well. Talked about big things and excitement happening with the work situation, and just excited to see where that goes.
All right.
I'm a little bummed though because I'm waiting on a package from the glorious United States Postal Service, of which their tracking said would arrive today, and their tracking says it still last was checked at a Tampa Bay, Florida warehouse.
Glorious or glorified?
Well, glorious sarcasm, glorified sarcasm, pick one.
All right then.
So hopefully that shows
Well-
up and didn't get lost in translation.
Yeah, they're being furloughed and everything. Again.
The paper made it, not the.
Yeah, that was something different. So anyway, that's that. But without really anything else, this is a nice little short intro blurb. We've gotten a little lengthy in the past, so let's jump right into the movies.
In which this may be a long one.
This will be a long one?
Movie segment,
Sure.
considering.
So Wade and I did see Chappie this past weekend. We'll get into that here shortly. But in
Fast
the movies,
forward now.
what?
Fast forward now.
Fast forward now. You want us to talk about it now?
No. Go ahead.
You're confusing me.
He said it was going to be long, so I was advising our listeners to fast forward now.
Oh, okay.
No, don't do that. No. So coming out this week, we have Cinderella. This borderline surprising to me has got 89% critic rating.
Wow.
So
Is this,
highly
is
highly
this one
acclaimed.
of the, as I would call it, dirty remakes?
Why would you say dirty remakes?
Was it
Because the last few remakes that have come out, like
Alice in
Hansel and
Wonderland
Gretel,
and-
Witch Hunter, and they've taken a very gritty, dirty, what's it? There was the Huntsman. There was
Snow White and the Huntsman or something like that?
so,
Yeah, and there
there've
was
been
another
a
one,
few
too.
remakes of the traditional fairy tales that have just been very dark and dirty.
Speaking of a
Not
dark
not
remake,
dirty as in adult content.
Yeah, but just kind of there's a grunge to it. Maybe
a bit
Yes,
gritty.
wasn't so fantastical.
exactly.
Yeah.
It
Well,
wasn't so Disney.
yeah.
Speaking of, if you want to speak of a grim and dark and gritty, dungy remake, they redid the Power Rangers.
No, I think they're working on redoing a Power Rangers, or there's
was a
an
short
internet
film
group
with
doing it, and it's not your little kid's Power Rangers movie.
exactly.
It's pretty adult, actually. Yeah, I think they get into like drug problems and some pretty gnarly violence issues.
Wow.
It's not your kid's Power Rangers show.
Anyway, sorry to derail. Back to my question: is this one of those?
It's tough to
Kind of
say.
remakes.
I'm going to say
Okay.
yes because I think they need to kind of dirty it up to maybe make it feel more of a relatable real world story and not this fairy tale fantasy.
Sure.
However, Rotten Tomatoes had no synopsis on this. They just said it's Cinderella, guys.
The one
Need
way,
us say more.
the one way to
You know.
figure out his question is Helena Bonham Carter in it.
Yes, she
There
is.
we go. We're done.
So featured in this movie is Lily James, who will play. Her character name is Ella. So apparently they have do something creative with the name of Cinderella. She has not been in much of anything prior. I think she was in a movie called Fast Girls, and that's it. So this could be very much like the girl who played Alice, where she was kind of a nobody until she was Alice, and now people recognize her as Alice. Lily James may be very well the same way. A name more familiar to some of us is Richard Madden. If it's not quite familiar, maybe the name of Robb Stark rings a bell from Game of Thrones. He plays the character Kit, who I believe is the prince. Kate Blanchett is in this as well, and as Wade mentioned, Helen Bonham Carter. Now, I took an extra step with the movies this week, and it turns out only our top 2 movies are getting a widespread theatrical release. And the 3 major theaters by us, Cinderella has a total of 51 movie times for Friday only.
Wow.
Some
That's
of those are IMAX, some of those are not, obviously.
And it's only showing on Friday? Or that's just how
That's
many
just
there
the
are
day
on
that I
Friday?
referenced for the release date for
Got
the
it.
total of 5 movies coming out this week, and only 2 of them appear to be getting a
Major release.
major release. The other ones are going to be a little more select, so we'll mention those as we get there. Number 2 this week is Run All Night. This is 50% critic rating. This is with Liam Neeson, Ed Harris, and the actor/musician Common, who you might recognize from Hell on Wheels on the AMC channel. This movie follows a mob hitman and his estranged son as they flee the wrath of a vengeful crime boss. The trailers, if you've seen the trailers, it appears that Liam Neeson's character ends up killing Ed Harris's character's son, the crime boss's son, and said crime boss wants vengeance. This, out of the same theaters I referenced, had 27 time slots for opening Friday. So, again, this should be available to just about everybody everywhere. Not so much for the next 3. Number 3 is It Follows. It rated at 96%. No major players in this one, but this movie, it follows a young woman after a strange sexual encounter. A teenager finds herself haunted by nightmarish visions and the inescapable sense that something is after her. Check your local area for times. It is not playing in the 3 major theaters for us in Southern California. Number 4, Home Sweet Hell. This is rated at 13%. Not awesome. This is starring Patrick Wilson, Katherine Heigl, and Jordana Brewster. Patrick Wilson, some may know from Angels in America, or he was the owl character in The Watchmen, amongst other items, just as A-Team. And Jordana Brewster is from Fast and the Furious. She plays Vin Diesel's character's sister, subsequently married to Paul Walker's character. Movie is Mona and Don's seemingly perfect suburban bliss is disrupted by a sexy extortionist, and Mona will stop at nothing, including killing the competition, to keep her little slice of heaven. Again, check your local areas for listings on that one. And number 5, finally, is The Cobbler. This is Adam Sandler and his usual company, including Steve Buscemi. Max Simkin repairs shoes in the same New York shop that has been in his family for generations. Disenchanted with the grind of daily life, Max stumbles upon a magical heirloom that allows him to step into the lives of his customers and see the world in a new way. Sometimes walking in another man's shoes is the only way to discover who you really are. That, I did not have the critic rating on that one. My apologies. I think it was so-so. But kind of an interesting concept of maybe a movie on self-reflection and maybe, seeing yourself in a higher regard than you would have without a different perspective. Once again, check your local listings. There is the 3 major theaters for us is not showing this movie, at least on Friday. In the box office, top 4 this week are Chappie at 13.3 million, Focus at 10 million, the second best exotic Marigold Hotel pulled in 8.5, and the Kingsman pulled in 8.3 million. Which brings us to our little excursion.
Yep.
So Chappie
Field
again
trip.
is the same group that did District 9 and Elysium, kind of that gritty. It's not really post-apocalyptic, but it's kind of an anarchy
Well, they were in
state.
Johannesburg.
Dystopian.
So
Yeah, it's based in Johannesburg. I don't know how much Johannesburg is from a crime-ridden standpoint that District 9 and now Chappie kind of portray it as,
yeah.
but it definitely kind of an anarchical state or vibe to it.
Martial law-ish.
Sort of, yeah. So, Wade, what'd you think about this movie? If I remember, this thing was only rated at like 20 or maybe 29%.
That was like 16 or something.
No, I don't think it was that low, but it was like 20-ish.
I expected it to not be very good, and as I just said, expected and was, for my own personal opinion, pleasantly wrong. The movie did touch on a lot of complex topics. So, I mean, if you do have some spare time, go see it. I mean, don't always look at the percentage Rotten Tomatoes or someone has said on it, but because you may like it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we've touched on the critic rating not being the word of God from a movie standpoint before.
So,
And yes, Brad.
go ahead. You finish first.
I will say that once again reigns true with Chappie. I was also very pleasantly surprised at how well it was. It does touch on some very complex thoughts from a science fiction standpoint, from a humanity standpoint. And it just was really enjoyable through and through. There's only a couple little things that I kind of wondered why they took that choice with it, but it wasn't anything major in the movie that ruined your immersion or confused you as to the plot or the direction it was going. So
the one thing that actually kind of bothers me with the reviewers now is that if it doesn't have like a love story, it really doesn't do that well. You know, it's a romantic comedy, and yet that one, if it's a romantic comedy, it gets a lot. But if it's, you know, Chappie, what was it, 23%? Yet I believed it was a good movie, and
based on our vibe, it should have gotten a lot better review than it did.
I just been seeing the trend of if it's got some overly sappy, if in my opinion, fiction love stories, that those are the ones that do well.
From a critic standpoint?
Yeah.
It's possible.
So, question for you then. You both mentioned that it touched on a lot of social issues. If it was touching on a lot, did it do justice to them?
Well, it wasn't
Or
so
did
much...
it feel rushed?
No, it wasn't so much the social issues. It was the science fiction, some sci-fi issues, some social issues. But I think they were touched on enough to get you thinking or to get you wondering on it, without spending too much on one and not on another, and not spending too much time on any one that was like, okay, we get it.
They were there to make you think. They weren't there enough to make you drown in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And some things were really subtle from a sci-fi or from a conceptual standpoint that you left the movie going, oh, okay. Well, that's kind of, you know, those movies that you leave and you think more about instead of walk out the theater and go, okay, I had a good time.
Yeah.
You know, now what?
That's actually kind of a marker plus for a movie for me, is that if you come out of a movie going, I never really thought of it that way, other than just, okay, I just watched a movie for 2 hours.
Or do you forget about it, you
Yeah.
know, the next day because nothing substantial happened to stick with you?
Exactly.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm going to touch on one thing just because I thought it was funny, and this isn't really a spoiler alert. But in the movie, they have this neural helmet, and it's designed to control a mech that Hugh Jackman ends up piloting.
Spoilers.
Spoiler. But they portrayed the helmet as reading the pilot's thoughts and the robot acting upon those thoughts. Just purely that. But when they show Hugh Jackman piloting the mech, he's got the helmet on, and then he's got control sticks. He's got
basically a flight stick, actually.
Yeah, he's got like a flight stick and hand controls.
And
It's like, okay,
actually,
well, if it was truly a neural helmet that controlled, the bot from the brain, what do you need these other controls for?
You know what actually?
Or is it just a VR headset that shows you the feed of what the robot sees?
You know what made me laugh though is that when he did, there were also screens that came up. It's like he's wearing a helmet.
That's also true. So the command station for this thing had like 8 screens for the pilot to see.
3. Don't be.
No, I thought it was double stacked.
I only saw 3. But
Maybe it was only 3. I thought it was maybe 6. But it had 3 screens in front of the chair. But when the pilot puts on the helmet, they're not going to see those screens at all. So I don't know if it's designed to have someone else overlooking them and seeing the monitors from a statuses or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of like
backdoor driver.
Okay,
What?
I mean it was interesting to look at from afar, but yeah, I didn't really pick up or really put a lot of thought into that one. That's pretty funny.
Oops.
But yeah, it's really, really, really well done. Couple of the key characters though that we found out after the movie, they play kind of the support antagonists. They're kind of there. They're not the best influence on your key characters of the movie, but it turns out they're part of a South African rap group, and they are married. And the names they went by in the movie are actually their show names.
In real life, they are part of a South African rap
group.
group.
It's not the character; it's their.
But they did go as their stage names, so when you can actually look them up from the movie. And I thought that some of their music was in it.
It might be. I don't know their music to say.
I did
but,
want to read research on that. I just didn't have the time.
Yep. But yeah, if you like sci-fi and you like movies that may be more a little bit more complex than a pure escape from reality, go see Chappie. You should be very pleasantly surprised.
We both ranked it higher than what it was by critics.
Yep.
Significantly higher, in fact.
You say go see.
I say go see.
Marvelous.
So go see it. All right. And news.
The big news this week is coming from our friends in Cupertino. Apple held a major press conference Monday and announced a couple new products, a couple revisions, and fleshed out their Apple Watch strategy a little more. So let's start with
iWatch? The iWatch?
No, Apple Watch.
Because iWatch is already taken.
Yep.
Yes.
Who do we say had that? Was it like Swatch or Swiss Army or something?
I want to say it was Swatch.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so let's start with the Apple Watch. Battery life they have announced at 18 hours.
That's not awesome.
So you will need to charge it nightly.
This is an Apple Watch that you need to charge or it will not keep time, thus screwing you over.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually not unusual for this product category, although I have to give props to a couple in the segment. Fitbit has a watch that lasts for, I think it's 4 days, and Pebble has one that lasts for 7. So, really? 18 hours? Come on, guys.
Yep. Well, we want to thank one of our followers for on Twitter for letting us know his experience with his Pebble.
Absolutely.
So, that just kind of strikes me as odd. It's like you need to charge your watch.
Well, the Samsung Gear version, which is Samsung's watch to tie with theirs, is the same deal. If you don't charge it every night, it's dead.
Just think it's because I know some people at work who forget to charge their phones on a basis, on a daily basis, and yet you want them to have a watch to charge to?
Yeah. So I was not particularly thrilled with that. Most of the other details that came out about it, we already knew mostly from the last press conference. The pricing was firmed up finally. All we were told last conference was the anchor price, right? It started at $350.
Sure.
So there will be 6 different models of the Apple Watch.
Crap.
There's the Apple Watch Sport, which is the basic one, which will be stainless steel. No, sorry, that'll be aluminum. The Apple Watch will be stainless steel, and then the Apple Watch Edition will be 18 karat gold. And then each of those 3 watches come in 2 sizes. And it escapes me right now. I want to say it's 38 and 42 millimeters.
Okay.
And the prices range, well, we were given the price of the low-end Apple Watch Sport at $350.
Yes.
And that is for a basic, the watch and a basic, rubber type band. And then from there, on the high end, well, let's work our way up. So that starts at $350.
Yes.
The middle of the range, the Apple Watch, starts around the $500 to $600 mark.
Okay.
And then the high-end Apple Watch Edition, the 18 karat gold, starts at $10,000.
Oh my! Really?
Starts at.
Yeah.
From the information that we have thus far, the $10,000 model will have just the crappy basic rubber band.
But
You're paying for the
watch
gold.
itself has 24
Correct.
karat gold on it.
Yes, 18 karat. So
Sorry, yep, 18.
yeah, but they do have different band options. One being gold links, the dressy interlocking,
The
and
band
the
links, yeah.
Yep, band links. And the estimated price were you to choose the gold watch with the gold links, thus giving us the top end of Apple Watches, is $17,000.
Or you could just get 3 Rolexes.
Seriously. Well, while you were talking, I decided to look up the Samsung Gear because obviously it's like the direct competitor with a name brand. And the Gear
$299?
2 is at $299. They have a Gear S model, but I'm having trouble finding that price on Samsung's website.
Yeah, so needless to say, I was a little disappointed by this. We knew it was not going to be cheap. In fact, there was speculation that the gold one was going to run for over $10,000. My biggest problem with this is, let's assume you have this money and you're going to put it into a watch. If I were to drop $17,000 on a watch, let's say I get a really nice high-end Rolex, I can give it to one of my kids, and then he can give it to one of his kids.
Yeah.
And then they can give it to one of their kids. And guess what? It'll still tell the time in 150 years.
And then one of them pawns it off.
Correct.
One of them pawns it off to pay for his hovercab ride.
Yeah.
This isn't a watch, despite the name. It's a piece of technology that happens to tell time.
Correct.
Next year, it's going to be obsolete. $17,000 to get 1, maybe 2 years of use out of it.
Yeah, that's...
I can't, I don't get it.
I mean, one of my favorite watches that if I had the money to go out and buy right now is only $2,500. It's not gold. It might have one diamond on it, and it's a Movado, which I love the look of. They're really clean. But for 10 grand, I can buy 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
In different shades of color.
Man, all sorts of different things. I'm curious, real quick. I want to see what a high-end Rolex goes for right now.
Sure. So while the interns research that, we'll move on to the next item. They announced a new MacBook. that gets 9 to 10 hours of battery life. It is a significant bump in performance and storage, RAM, the baseline. They raised the baseline on all of it. The nice thing about it's thinner than the MacBook Air. It comes in at 13.1 millimeters and weighs less than 2 pounds. It is just a phenomenal feat of engineering, once again. This is the one that we actually covered rumors about quite a while ago as only having one port.
Mm-hmm.
And the port on this is going to be a USB 3.1 Type-C. We covered the Type-C connector,
We did.
the reversible connector. So that will be the only port on this. You get one USB 3.1 Type-C port. And then they're going to sell adapters from that. You will charge through that. It will be a USB port, a video out port, pretty much anything you can think of you will do through that one port. So entrepreneurs out there, start coming up with docks for this thing.
Seriously. Now, my question is, well, first of all, do you have an Air? MacBook Air?
I do not. My wife has a MacBook Air. I have a MacBook Pro.
But you're familiar with the size and everything.
Absolutely.
And obviously you're familiar with your MacBook and you carry that around with you where you go.
Yes.
How much thinner does a laptop need to be? I guess my question is, if you could have the MacBook Pro that has a battery life of, I don't know, a couple days,
Sure.
and its thickness, versus the new MacBook that is thinner than an Air but gets, what'd you say, 9 to 10 hours?
9 to 10 hours, yep.
What would you rather have?
Well, and this is becoming the discussion with cell phones, isn't it? I mean, this is the thinnest iPhone ever. Well, I was fine with the thickness of my other iPhone, so if you could squeeze that much smaller components and give me more battery.
Yeah.
Make it last for more than 6 hours.
Wasn't this the same MacBook that was rumored to float on water?
I hadn't heard that one.
I don't know if I have either.
2 pounds with its surface area. I don't know. That would be interesting to find out if it does. That would be kind of cool.
Not that you should ever put
Do not try this at home.
Yeah, exactly. Even though that we did actually talk about that, people putting or believing that their update on their iPhones would magically make it waterproof and then dipping their phones in water. We did cover that.
Yeah, we did.
Some people are, anyway.
Brilliant.
Some people also thought that they could charge their phones by putting them in the microwave.
Woohoo! Rapid charge.
Sure, for
Yeah.
the first
So
2 seconds.
What did you find on watches? And then I will do the last part of the
I went
conference.
to Rolex's website directly. And in order to get price, you have to consult a retailer.
Holy crap.
So you realize you're getting into this market where if you have to ask what the price is, you can't afford it.
That's exactly correct. That's what they tell you at the Ferrari dealership. If you have to ask, you shouldn't be in here.
Yes. All right. So
this is not can I afford one? It's how many would you like?
Yes. So with the price of the Rolex unknown, let's wrap up the Apple conference with the Apple TV. No bump in specs this time. We are still on the 3rd generation Apple TV, which is their little set-top box, but we did get a price cut. They reduced it from $99 to $69.
Wow.
That's a fairly decent price cut. I mean, we're talking 30% price reduction there. And I'm wondering if this is a market repositioning to better compete with Roku and Amazon Fire TV, or if this is let's start dumping our stock of Apple TV 3s because they've got something awesome coming at WWDC to replace it.
That both have strong merit.
Yes.
That is surprising though. I mean, if you were thinking about Chromecast is different, but Apple, like I said, Amazon Fire versus Apple TV, and you like the Apple stuff. Well, now you're in a more competitive market. Or at least Apple has
Well,
put themselves into being, more available.
absolutely. And if you're in the market for this, $99 to $69 takes it from maybe to, yeah, I'm just going to get one.
Yeah, it goes from maybe I'll hold off to sure, why not?
Yeah. I'm here. That's, it's not pocket change, but it's not bad. Yeah, just throw one in the cart.
Exactly. Well, the benefit to Apple TV with recent HBO news is that HBO and Apple have signed an exclusive partnership. Coming out next month, we'll get into that in just a second, HBO is announcing their new Now streaming service that will not require a cable or satellite subscription. Where do you get this? Exclusively on any Apple device. There will be a subscription cost of $14.99 a month, which I believe is less than most cable satellite subscriptions, which I believe are at $20 a month. And according to HBO's CEO, all you need to get HBO Now is a broadband connection and an Apple device. What I find interesting, and not really interesting, confirms suspicions. I mentioned it's coming out next month. Wade, what else comes out next month on HBO?
Would it have to do with a certain blondish, whitish haired woman?
It might. Can you just get to the point?
GTO?
Well, GTO is a car made by Pontiac who's no longer in existence. Would you like to try again? For $200.
Game of Chairs?
Game of Thrones, HBO's most successful TV show, also opens season 5 next month on April 12th. Coincidence?
I think not.
I think not. So if you have an Apple TV or an Apple device, like the iPad I hold in my hand, for $14.99 you can ditch your cable satellite provider for HBO and have it anywhere you are.
So we've been covering this as the news has unfolded about it, obviously, and well, we didn't know it was called HBO now at the time, but now we do. And I have to say, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah?
It seems that HBO, has traded one master for another. Before you could only get HBO if you had a satellite or cable TV subscription. And now you can only get it if you have an Apple device. I mean, that's great for Apple, but it's still not really open,
That's true. Now, the article did mention, maybe I'm reading too far into this, but it did say exclusive launch partner.
Yes.
So I take that to be, we need to get this out and available because Game of Thrones is coming out.
Right.
And where's the best place to do that? Apple is.
Yep.
So let's get it out, and then once we're established, we can open our doors.
The number that I have heard being thrown around is 3 months. It's a 3-month lock-in, which isn't horrible.
No, but Game of Thrones is 10 episodes long, and it's all of Game of Thrones.
So for everybody else, you're going to be watching reruns. Sorry.
Well, but you get all the movies that are available. You get some of the other shows, and the nice thing with HBO's current streaming option, when you have that cable or satellite provider, is that they backlog everything.
Yes.
If you were to go sign up for HBO today through your local provider or satellite, you can digitally stream any show that they've ever done from episode 1.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
So you can catch up.
Totally. Binge watch to your heart's content.
Yeah. So everybody go buy an Apple device.
Apple TV now is $69.99.
Exactly. And subscribe to HBO and catch up on Game of Thrones because,
winter is coming.
I was going to say new season is coming.
Well, sucks for you.
It's fun is that I did see a post. This is to actually celebrate Women's Day that actually happened this week.
Did we get a Men's Day? Oh, wait, that'd be sexist.
Yep,
we can't have that.
So I was thinking
Oh, come on. We get everything else.
and it was a post where Khaleesi, Daenerys, was sitting on a stool, and she's basically got this dead goat just on her lap. And on the goat it says, "To Mom," and it's got 3 little dragons just staring and smiling up at her.
That's pretty funny. That is a season 4 reference to a degree.
Yeah, it's when they were tiny.
That's pretty funny.
Yes.
Well, but in season 4, the dragons kind
Stow-
of raid a sheep
stow
herder's
goats. Yep.
flock. So, awesome. HBO, go get it.
Well, breaking from all the Apple news, we go into something that is severely controversial in the gaming industry anyway. Tim Schafer, the mind behind the games such as Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, Psychonauts, Brutal Legend, in conjunction with Jack Black there, the Monkey Island series, and Day of the Tentacle, took to the podium at GDC, the Game Developers Conference, and produced a sock puppet, which then he used to make jokes until it got to a certain point where I believe he had the sock pup where he was Tim Schafer was talking about making armor in a game, in which then he had the sock puppet pronounce, well, how many gamer gators does it take to make a piece of armor? And he continued to go, well, one to do the material, another to do the art, and then the sock puppet came in and said, and 48 more to tweet about it's not your shield. This became a giant insult to gamer gators and people who also their offshoot, not your shield.
What's a gamer gator?
Gamer gator is a group of people who basically pretty much are fed up with the corruption in the video game journalism industry.
Oh, so it's like Deflategate and Applegate, or whatever the Apple
Bendgate.
Bendgate, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever stupid titles we give to things.
Into which they somehow got into a war with the feminism community, probably mostly with Arnita Sarkeesian, bringing in, gains. Basically, they probably got in basically saying that, telling people you need to be more honest with, your relations with developers and journalisms.
So essentially, this guy used a sock puppet and crossed the line socially and pissed off a bunch of people.
And not only that, but he did use it incorrectly. The sock puppet was also a symbolism for what is known as a sock puppet account, where it's where one person using multiple accounts to spread
To
it,
do what?
to make an issue look larger than it actually is.
Okay.
So, and going on, when I looked into this, the Not Your Shield, which is an offshoot of the Gamergate people, was in response to the war that blew up in between the feminist community and the Gamergate community, wherein the journalists tried to use the LGBT community. I may have been saying that wrong.
LGBT.
LGBT, thank you. And this naturally started with, I forget his name, but it was an African American male who started this Not Your Shield. It was basically saying, you don't get to use women, transgender, gay, lesbian people as your shield, and saying, oh look, but we support these people.
And then,
so you get,
do something that's not politically correct in the game itself.
Then that they don't speak about how their full transparency, saying that they may have gotten something from a developer to speak as a journalist standpoint, to speak highly about the developer's game. There's a bias.
So a lot of political corruption in the gaming journalism world is what
These people are standing for.
is what you're really getting at.
And this actually came out with a Law and Order SVU episode that painted gamers such as ourselves, the white, as gamers being white heterosexual males, as just misogynist, women oppressing people.
Well, there are a lot of those.
What's that, Brad?
I said there are a lot of those, unfortunately.
Just say if you're a gamer, you're a white and heterosexual and just a woman oppressor.
Well, it's not automatic, but unfortunately, they tend to be the most vocal. You know, the rude jerks tend to be the vocal ones, and the original Gamergate controversy ended up with some very serious real life threats of rape and death against some of these people. And you know what? That's not cool.
I agree with that. That's not something that you should think. And to a point that some other people have used those threats and then capitalized and are making quite a decent amount of money off those. Granted, using those threats is in no way okay.
No.
But then to use it as to make money and then hide behind, well, there are people who've done this, hide behind their gender. And this is where the, not your shield came in. It's just despicable.
Well, unfortunately, the tech community in general and the gaming community tend to be very sexist, very closed-minded, shall I say. And it's sad. There are a lot of awesome developers who are women. There are a lot of awesome gamers who are women, and the prejudices that are perpetrated and continued against them is just despicable. It's disgusting.
I think a lot of it comes to is that people feel safe and more confident when they think there's no ability for retaliation, meaning that I'm not going to go up to someone on the street and use expletives or call them names or whatever, because there could be immediate real-world consequences of that. But if I'm sitting at home in the safety of my living room with a headset on, I'm not saying me specifically, but me from a generalization, would feel more secure and have more liberties of what I say and who I say that to, because I think there's no consequences, and that spurs a lot of the controversy. And you get a lot of people, the most vocal people are the ones who are the most shy in the world, because they feel like they now can express themselves, or have the freedom to, at least.
Without being judged, which is what they're most fearing.
But, I would offer for that just because you're more comfortable expressing it online versus in person doesn't mean those attitudes don't exist, right? Just because you wouldn't go up to somebody and use a sexist derogatory term doesn't mean you don't feel that way. And that's where the problem is arising, is the community. And I understand I'm broad brushing and not everybody is this way, so listeners, forgive me if you're not, but it seems to be that as a group, the gaming and by extension a lot of the tech community are sexist bigots. And that's not cool. Whether you feel comfortable expressing it or not isn't really the issue. It's the fact that this exists in the first place.
That's fact. True.
Yep.
And it's disgusting. There's no place for this.
And, coming from my perspective, I'm sitting here, I am a gamer. I am. I in no way...
Yeah, but you suck at it.
Skill is irrelevant right now. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm a gamer. I still believe that women, should be equal. There's my definition of equal, which probably won't be the same definition of equal to someone else. But also, I do sit on the I sit on two different forms here. I sit on, yes, I do want non-biased, non-corrupt gaming journalism. But yes, I do believe that gaming can grow with the including of feminism. Maybe not the way that we're going at it right now, but I believe some aspects of feminism could help broaden the game industry in itself.
Well, and it's long past due. I mean, for goodness sakes, it's 2015. It's long past due that we achieve equality. If let's take this back to game programming. Let's start there. If she types the same lines of code that I do, she should be paid the same.
Yes.
The fact that she's not is BS.
And
of course.
that's where I kind of sit here on my definition of equality is that the computer doesn't care who pushes the buttons.
Yes.
If a man and a woman are both doing the same job at the same level, the same set of skills and qualities, yes, they should get paid the same. If they're there for the longest time.
Yes. And the environment of intimidation and male privilege that still goes on in tech circles. I mean, there are companies that are struggling with this now where they're having to appoint executives just to handle this. Really? Have we learned nothing? Have we not evolved at all?
Clearly not.
Women's
Clearly
relations
not.
executive or something?
I forget what they're called, but yeah, they're appointing people specifically to watch out for this because it is so bad.
And
because there is such a culture of male supremacy that there have been extremely talented, brilliant women quit because their work environment is so hostile. That's not cool.
Yep, but there is also the other side where we have now I have used her name before, but Arnita Sarkeesian came out with these 9 points of how she would like to see gaming changed, and a lot of them were pretty decent, but there were ones that was, use women as, varying different types of body style, but also use them as enemies. Well, then you're just going to go back to, you're going to be, video games are teaching young boys how to beat women again. We can't have that justification standard.
You can't go to the other extreme and claim that you're making it right. If you have a game, let's say Grand Theft Auto, as a topic that is under a lot of scrutiny. With the later versions, you can create your avatar, and you can create a male-female avatar.
Yep.
So you can make the primary character female. There's no, that's fair. You should also have NPCs that are both supportive and are both hostile of both genders. If you're going to do one, you better make an equal option on the other gender. That's the only way to do it fair. You have to line the A's and B columns, or in this case, the male and female columns, and make sure that if you have a check in one, that there is a check in the other, that both are portrayed in equal roles throughout the gaming experience.
And I think there should be an equality as well. There is a tendency to make the protagonist, a strong male lead that has to save the damsel in distress.
Sure.
Why can't we have more games with strong female leads? What's wrong with that?
Tomb Raider?
Exactly.
Good and Evil, Samus Aran.
What was the one for PS3?
I'm not saying
Heavenly
they don't
Sword?
exist. I'm saying there should
the
be
one from
more.
Heavenly Sword?
Yeah. I mean, go from Heavenly
Famiko
Sword.
or something?
I don't know her name. I forget.
They're more the exception than the rule.
I don't disagree, but we're getting there. You know what I'm surprised about, actually, and talking about this, it made me think of Assassin's Creed. because I think one of the lead players in Ubisoft, I think it's Montreal, that does the Assassin's Creed games, is female. Yet we haven't had a female assassin character yet.
I do believe you could do as a female assassin in the co-op, but yeah, that is a kind of
in the multiplayer
problem.
only. But in the main storyline, I'm kind of surprised that a female, more or less leading the project, hasn't had the ability or hasn't advocated for or whatever a strong female portrayal.
But I mean, getting back to my topic is that our neatest example points is that we have this, and we can't have a nice balance with the feminism, is that they say, oh, you got to have women as enemies too. But if you're going to hit a woman in a game at any time, this is teaching young boys that violence against women is okay. It's like, well, what do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
for the record, public service announcement: violence against women is not okay under any circumstances.
I'm going to rearrange that. Violence against anyone is not okay.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah. Public service announcement.
My only caveat to both of those is that if you're in danger of your life, and violence is your only way to
with
reduce that danger, male or female, you're obligated to protect yourself. Don't get shot by a woman because you were afraid to fight back because she was a woman. I mean, that's foolish.
Obviously,
unless it was your fault in the first place.
But I mean,
you shouldn't have started it.
It's that point is where would it be okay for you? Because if we do this, then you say this, and if we do this, then you say this. Where? How are we supposed to create this medium for you when you go back and forth on your mixed signals subject here?
So I'm going to throw this one to the listeners. Tweet us, get on Facebook and comment on this episode. Let us know what you think. We want to hear from you at Abundance Naught or facebook.com/ abundance.naught.
Yep, or just Abundance Naught will get you there as well. Let us know what gender equality in the gaming industry means to you.
We want to hear.
And it's terrible though. In most forms, as from a feminist standpoint, us speaking about this means nothing.
Why? Because we're all male?
Yeah, exactly. Because we are straight white male.
Yeah,
well, it's unfortunately the majority of the problems are coming from straight white males. So this is where we need to start fixing it. Is with the three of us.
If you don't fix the problem demographic, then you're really not fixing anything.
Well, that's the point here. Is that anything we say is thrown out the window, but yet when we try to have a talk about it, all of our stuff is tossed out the window. We aren't allowed to sit down and discuss how to fix it. Therefore, we can't fix it because we're straight and white male, we can't. Anything we try to do is thrown.
There's my polar opposing standpoint. Don't ask us to fix it and then get mad at us when we try to fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are getting right up to our hour mark. That was far more lengthy than I think we had intended it to be. But like Brad said, please give us your feedback on this topic and anything else that we may have said that you didn't like. We do welcome feedback.
Absolutely. Positive and negative.
Any source.
Mostly positive, though. I mean, I only read the positive.
We do like positive.
We keep the discussion going.
Yeah.
That's right. So, let us know what's going on, and we hope you learned something today. I know I did. I won't be buying an Apple Watch anytime soon. And we'll talk to you next week.
Keep on gaming.
That's a wrap.